Value Yourself First by Jim Rohn. One of the timeless principles that Jim Rohn emphasized throughout his life and teachings was this: if you want life to get better, you must first get better. If you want to have more, you must become more. If you want to change the world around you, you must first change yourself. At the root of all these ideas lies one essential truth: you must value yourself first. Without self-worth, without self-respect, without recognizing your own potential, no amount of external achievement, wealth, or recognition will create fulfillment. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot inspire, uplift, or lead others if you have not first discovered the deep well of value within yourself. Valuing yourself is not arrogance, selfishness, or pride. It is a recognition of the fact that you are the starting point of your own destiny. Too often people wait for others to validate them, to recognize their worth, or to offer them permission to grow. But Jim Rohn reminds us, life does not work that way. The world responds not to your needs, but to your value. If you undervalue yourself, others will too. If you constantly diminish your worth, accept less than you deserve, and allow mediocrity to define your standards, then you will live in the shadow of your own potential. But when you begin to truly value yourself first, when you make the conscious decision that your life, your time, your energy, your goals, and your dreams are worthy of investment, everything begins to shift. Think about the simple truth Jim Rohn often shared. Success is something you attract by the person you become. This means that the way forward is not found in chasing after success, but in building yourself up to the point where success naturally gravitates toward you. But here's the catch: you cannot become that person unless you first value yourself enough to commit to growth. If you think you are undeserving, if you believe deep down that you are not capable or not worthy of great things, then you will sabotage your own progress. Self-worth is the soil from which all achievement grows. Valuing yourself first means recognizing the most precious resources you have: your time, your mind, your health, your relationships, and your spirit. Time is the ultimate equalizer. Everyone has 24 hours, but what separates the successful from the struggling is how they use those hours. When you value yourself, you stop wasting time on distractions that add nothing to your growth. You stop living only for temporary pleasures and start investing in permanent progress. You start treating your time as a currency that cannot be wasted, because you understand that each day is a brick in the foundation of your destiny. The same principle applies to your mind. Jim Rohn often said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." When you value yourself first, you don't wait for someone else to give you knowledge, training, or guidance. You take responsibility for your own growth. You read, you listen, you learn, you practice, and you stretch your thinking. You understand that your mind is your greatest asset, and like any asset, it must be invested in, protected, and strengthened. Health, too, is a reflection of self-value. How many people destroy their potential simply because they do not value themselves enough to care for their bodies? They eat poorly, neglect exercise, abuse substances, or ignore rest, forgetting that their physical state is the vessel through which all success flows. To value yourself first is to say, my health matters, my energy matters, my vitality matters. Without them, I cannot fully pursue my dreams. It is not vanity, it is responsibility. But perhaps the most important part of valuing yourself is understanding the power of your choices. Every choice you make is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Every decision is a reflection of your self-respect. Do you surround yourself with people who lift you up, or with those who drain your energy? Do you fill your mind with inspiration and wisdom, or with noise and negativity? Do you discipline yourself to do what is necessary, or do you give in to excuses? These are not trivial matters. These are the very measures of whether or not you truly value yourself. When you begin to value yourself first, you also stop living for the approval of others. This is one of the traps that holds so many people hostage. They base their worth on what others think, what others say, or whether others recognize their achievements. But Jim Rohn taught us that maturity comes when you take full responsibility for your life and stop outsourcing your value to external opinions. The truth is, not everyone will believe in you. Not everyone will see your vision. Not everyone will applaud your progress. But if you value yourself first, their opinions will not define you. You will know in your heart that your worth does not fluctuate based on someone else's recognition. And here's where the paradox lies. The more you value yourself, the more value you can give to others. Self-value is not selfishness, it is preparation. When you are strong, you can strengthen others. When you are disciplined, you can inspire others to rise higher. When you are filled with purpose, you can guide others to their own. But if you neglect yourself, if you have nothing to give, then your influence will always be limited. Jim Rohn put it beautifully. You must learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Why? Because your personal growth determines how much you can contribute to the world. Consider this analogy. If you are flying on a plane, the safety instructions always say, put on your own oxygen mask first before assisting others. Why? Because you cannot help anyone if you yourself cannot breathe. In the same way, if you do not value yourself, your health, your growth, your dreams, then you cannot meaningfully help others. The best way to serve your family, your community, and your world is to first strengthen yourself. Valuing yourself also means setting standards. Life does not give you what you want, it gives you what you accept. If you accept disrespect, you will be disrespected. If you accept mediocrity, you will live a mediocre life. If you accept excuses from yourself, you will never experience growth. But when you raise your standards and say, I will not settle for less than my potential, everything changes. Your standards create the boundaries of your life. People treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Opportunities come to those who prepare themselves for more. The moment you begin to truly value yourself, you stop tolerating things that are beneath your potential. Another crucial aspect of valuing yourself is believing in possibility. Jim Rohn often reminded us that all progress begins with the power of belief. If you don't believe you can change, you won't try. If you don't believe you can achieve, you won't persist. If you don't believe you deserve more, you won't reach for it. Self-belief is not blind optimism. It is the logical conclusion of valuing yourself. When you see yourself as valuable, you also see yourself as capable of growth, capable of change, and capable of extraordinary achievement. Now, let's talk about the ripple effect. When you value yourself first, people notice. They see the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you pursue excellence, and the way you respect your own time and energy. That quiet confidence inspires others. It shows them what is possible. Jim Rohn often said, we don't get paid for the hour, we get paid for the value we bring to the hour. That principle applies to life as well. Your influence in the world is not based on how much time you exist, but on how much value you bring. And you cannot bring value until you first see yourself as valuable. The journey of valuing yourself is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. Every day you must remind yourself that you are worthy of growth, worthy of effort, and worthy of living a life of significance. Every day you must feed your mind with inspiration, your body with strength, your relationships with love, and your dreams with discipline. Every day you must choose to rise above excuses, above fear, above procrastination, and above negativity. Every day you must say, I matter, my life matters, my contribution matters. Jim Rohn believed that the greatest gift you can give the world is the best version of yourself. But that gift can only be unwrapped when you begin to value yourself first. So ask yourself today, how much do you truly value yourself? Are your actions aligned with the belief that you are worthy of success? Do your habits reflect self-respect? Do your goals show that you believe in your potential? Or are you settling for less because you have forgotten